Kwaba Shonko Fambra at Tijachi Media So Kumasi Online TV. And there are no pay and near my air koshu my Ghana dear Shoguno. And this Amanyoko MPP Amanyoko independent candidate Ahodrono. Wamahon Sansem and Amabob Wanina no Amede Air Baba Somo say at Tijachi Media. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, mommy. We are domane danche no click so video biara e de betum bia no ubenya notification e wo phone so no wa hwe bi endra na jo fan show me betena video mu hanum say den sembebre na na be so mo amode ma dwenche fa comment section na say mo am share video ne ni ade loyal fans of Atija Jumedie mu nyina no nyankopon enhia mu nyina ye papa afi we ya ye kwa akoto aba no chese kwabrane a wo bedi wo man Ghana so one year bibi papa bi ama o man Ghana yedi ne ho ya pame ne se won kono nkotene fie na foforo mbra ne yembe so ne ntwa sabre ya mene mo kase na ndwuma wo tu nyina ne se me yiri dade sabe wa me Ghana fo bebre na so e de jire mu no mo si o wa na me ka wakoma tu yem kwa fufra wo ba ye ne dwuma chese wodi diye wo man Ghana no ye bre ye papa nti en de we de obi besie ye former president that day sabre na beju wo man Ghana fo efri nkwasho mu dudu na so na e ka se da bi arefre ni ye ni arefre sa papa we oba ye dwuma wodi aba beju wo man Ghana fo pa si akasi ye san so de ye kokromoti ato aba de ama ne se wo mbra no beju wo man Ghana so de ebusua enya de a ebetumi aboa ye Alan Kojo chairman ten ane wono so se me kwa de me mada na me wo MPP party ne mo na MPP party ni dwuma wo mu didi mi ti masesa me nkukuru me kaka nyina no running away nobody tawo do we jande into osre Ghana for we free party ne mo no na nyema papa no we MPP party ne mo ano ode boa wo mo no e kame akwa eze no mu hu ne seso mfasho nti wo de tu dwama Ghana for nyina mate e to makoma so aka mi December 7 monfa mukokromoti ento aba enfama no bawo mi ahwo wono so ye dede fastiane mame ase de wo abufra wo bi agere ka bi afri ni nsem no wo cheche Ghana fo aso no so stress o e wo mu se meka MPP party ne ho na do dan ko ekufu ado wono na ye driver me de na me mate bi keke me ntumi ye me hu bibi akra na do kra me tunufu awontie ni ade anti sabre de MPP fo ato abade abade so wono me ye flag bearer de mate ni ba ko pe wo se mo first year ne ma no na wo man Ghana no chimu fam nkobo hye asase ne so de abeto aba ede ama ne coming December 7 chedam so oba no homadi ye papa bebusia enya sam keto na se Ghana fo de wo mkokrometi beto aba de ama independent candidate bia me kase anka yade a ebebo nipa wo sefata se odi o my Ghana nim coming December 7th no o de fa comment section na so ede amame enne ya neja Dr. Mahama Bawumia ene ne Matthew Opoku Pempe wo mababa piemu e wa Shante Regional enter 7:30 to 8 de meje de se no makwa kopiemu o menhia update beto for me free honum bia no munya ne bebia agese Kumasi Online TV ane ye be streaming a live edi amamo from menhia so one be headed towards Jubilee Park enso no akwa dan Matthew Opoku Pempe edi acha Santa Manya na ze we de mo amudie mu a ma pre ache me ane me ba be yi no me yi ne so nko ade mo ba mo homaden say breaking the 8 aye MPP amanyoko no ye ni suade hu no mo ba boa ye no mato aba ne de amaye na ye nso ne ma papa aka we ye mu no ye tumi aba be dan ne di edi ache me kai mo say MPP amanyoko ne ba ye no na $1 eye 4 Ghana cedis sabe ya me mo ka say $1 eye 16 Ghana cedis it is obedi echi na to am MPP party ne dia de metumi aka nyina ne say eto gemo ankasa me number 0557036109 de akoso mpotebu bi abaso de bedan me video audio pictures na de nyina no obetimi ede asend me WhatsApp to products bi yamba hu de ro fama woni jijumedi e hu obaso obaso ya senso 055062 3377 and I say 0557036-109 Kumasi Online Media School any American Paint na sabre wo masoma si amedi Atija Jumedie no e ba be som send e dem ka me je de say wo bi sam ho say Dema ATP amawo ani ATP waba be piemu e wo fidie mu hanim say saso na nde matomensa ede afre akosia boachewa se wono so mbeka me ho na wo man Ghana yen dwendwen ho kwaya ye befa so man Ghana befa ne ntuma pa efrade osafata so se ne de no ye to jani bi ma na busua wonu se fidiem hanim se de enya de ye de beche nipa ne ye beto bi e de ama ne se de se na efata na kwesi de a echemu yi e na John Dramani Mahama wotana ne to so ano se de bi Semi wo bibi pa ensantwofo na ya na de bia no wo mo ton ye niema wo mo no mo sre Ghana fo so mo to ba ne ma we wo mo aso na ya na e kasa men to ba ne fa ma we nti we de ma me ye meet with the press me ne wo mo ntena se ye mbobo nsem ho ye ntoto adwen question bia da wo ma koma show bia no wo mo to ma me John Dramani Mahama na minya no na no kwasem omiti press no eniema de bre na ne ko show je se Captain Smart kopie mu ya titi kopie mu se aso na ya kasa ye se wa amie onu su kopie mu na ya se wona mi akasa soro na ni chine mu ebusia enya sam keto asam chofo ahodo na ene be pie mu e wo honom na ndi se amanye okuo ne de ye to question ne man wo mabisa nti ne no ya to ye bu a questions a ye to ma na wo yiyi ano ene niema e chi Ghana fo adwun a ye de hyensam chofo enum se ye nko bisa no ye yi ne ba ko ne response a o de ba abonte no ya de gi akom ni ahwe de betumi aboa wo man Ghana so na wo safata se de de ekokromoti eto aba e de mana mami panels no akwa abashon confirmbra atija chumedie so hello.
Hi.
How are you all doing? And me conbrofo. How are you?
We are fine. What about you?
Nyame adome so me ho ya say ti bi wa ho keka no fo mame.
Sawo.
Bibi abako de.
Yakopon adon na don Hey Radin Yankopon na don kokufo ade wabu mai ti no na he me boni di.
Pacho voice ask kaka.
Na ya se wa Yankopon adom me ho den. Se be me bi ade a ahomachi asore no.
Eti
na ya se
wa kura se dwumedie ya ahomachi program e bi afiasa na amafo wo mani ate kura wo mo hwe
enya hwe
wo bi aka cho se ne japade ejina so
se dwa ahomachi na wo se ya na ejina so sana
ne jawa wo be kanse akosia
yeah
bibi abako de
obo ade adom ti ne ye ho ye na se ne nyoma ekono Ghana ensensem na eba ne de anu odin ene ye ba be kan nyina wa ha no
ATV
na ya se wa
mama di kan fa wo enremu na eyi John Dramani Mahama se the program ye wo koki o ye wo kimpiski oni aba na mi jinemo won say ne ba bi say die e fa wa my Ghana ho na me na ya so wa man ko bia na just the media houses ni nyina no be bia todi me ko jinemu anka se na be pesa me to me bona bi tie ne nsam no mahwefo da makoma so me to be fast fake news bi amfa mbe so mo mo na ne nsam na wode ba ye de bo nsam de wo ka bi o my Ghana education system also shem kama kuma ntumu yem mi ameni organo sadi amafu ye dede na wo mo ba na se no nukure bi enim sabre ya me no wo ka say John Dramani Mahama say free senior high school bill no se nyame ya dom na Ghana for to abama na bill no o mo be pass bill ne be ka then abeka fa ho
na ya se wa ena no pe ma ya hwefo nyina kwa ba fa mra ati jadwumedie so se dan de nyina no omoje bre na oja mutie na omode comment nso fa comment section o kama de ma na ya se wa o se de bia da me betena se ya wo fa ye mia me papa no san so ye me wo fa aye John Mahama wo se ye fa 4 years no ye fa emma no na wontimi bebo o my Ghana o my Ghana fa into my perfect de nya busa ne se sa 4 years no de and what they ba ya po my Ghana fa into my perfect na ya beka ya na John Mahama enim no 2012 ade besi 2016 so no na kasa asem media na me ka kire Ghana fo nyina so intro kese pa na John Mahama o twa yen I come here ko say yet now no ma me ade brofo na ba be dada ye biem amanya kopon bo 7 December ye sade kokromoti pa we ya sa akoto aba e de yi John Mahama na ye de kokromoti koto aba de yi John Mahama de a na ya se we ha pe na me fa me Ghana must go e na me free kromu ase 10 times so kopie Togo na me ko bo me black kama e wo honom free senior high school na ya se we nyina yanim e bra na danko akufu ado shobo ado gaga ado play my day ba no yet nsema edisi amanu ko no kan ye omo so omo kro na di kan ba de ba ye na ijoma ba be fa
progressively wo mo
na ya se wa ba ni nyina mu ne se wa abofra ne ebusa ne say one na de free senior high school ba obi ebeka se
na danko ekufu
ene MPP aban na ya say watama na danko ekufu adre campaign na free senior high school no ensema 9 samani kronika ne say o wanya de ebetimi MPP for ni timi nya ba mu kasa no mu ka che se mo na mo de ba na mo sha se na a day student na day student no na ya say wa yete ne say
eno ne boy kwa yi question mark ke siasa wodi aba no pe
what ya say ye Ghanaians nyete ne say but ya shona na da kwakufu adra the real se me born homogen e wo ye from 2017 now to 2020 no and the message is 4 years ne the man at this 4 years there wo mana kwa kro the John dey am my guys and I say wa the metima kan say ensema John Mahama obejina mpisi so ne nkurofo beka che se nya de free senior high school ebetimi aye adwuma wo man Ghana mu ase no se ne dey se de kokromoti koto obama John Mahama se wo sa medi esu bia na ya se wa ne se free senior high school no obetwam data make so obetwam ne de emi se ye toko ye ni nyina sansem nyina ebeba enza wo fu amotewo nom no ama wo se free senior high school abo unu bia abo na bia na bi no ment na wonom koto aba ebeba ne eba betwa free senior high school na ma man ni mo ayede ko John Mahama na ma yati asese MPP amanu ku no ma ba be ne ma fon bi egu akira wo ba no ntimi ba ye hwe fama ye ti eba sere mada free senior high school na John Mahama wo kasa bebrebe se nya dia wo fe no ba be shemu kinya no masa don't go there
and so was a belly biara MPP amanyoku ne be pass bia no wono no wo chin ye mofra no ho
na ya se wa
mofra ne da wono John Dramani Mahama na kuma so wo ntumenda na osoli bia no wo dwe ho se mofra wo mo Ghana wo mo ba be ye dachi president dachi MC is DC is member of parliament no wo mo nya so wo mo be ko shuku pa wo mo nya cheche fa wo ma jimu do wo ma jima bia wo mo betumi aboa wo mo nti wono de wo ni problem na mom no Billy bia bebe bia se bill no improve na improve your mind Ghana education system no kra ono John Dramani Mahama ochine
ofoye na kasa same way dia na 2016 2012 13-14 now to 2016 no wo ye day
samre no na wono no wedi kan abo ne ho modern ti no wonim sa na ado danko ekufu ado was tie ose 2 years ago Kimpiski wan wo china wo ka kire MPP amanyoku ne say muntie me na muntie na shopem se wantumi antoto ne ma ye ya wo man Ghana ebe krashe eno na nda ATP me no ka say ye din krado kro ba ko 5 Ghana cedis kura ye mi ye wie ya ne ye
na ya se wa o se de bi etina se ya na make us ase me say yen kasa John Mahama ba wa mbe ye bia ma ye
why ye bi
the same things na na don koku for do ye nya bibia kra fa na na secret FSHS ya be da na se ba na ya se wa den time na John Mahama wo ho de ne ma tu John Mahama fra akunya so enam drum so first one ene ne marketing kiti bia keke ka ho enti wo na this the time wo ba be ka kire say wo ba be shemu kina na bibia wetin abo medication system e say na yete say ntoma gubi no ahye kina die diama na ya se wa
wo be wonu sudi
na ya se sudi ni kra yempe o na ya se wa yempe no nya wonu sudi black dia na se o de ye ko sumu ankasa e na ya se wa na John Mahama minim no enya dia na ya se wa even kra no si e ka se free senior high school no ya ti se wo parliament house na o ka se o mo se nya
wo mo se be si asankrofo ikura no ye wo de ye engine nim ko bi
entinimate na na ka se penny for no sabe
ajene ko I because afenya se wo mo de akọ
o so se nya
fa ye fa be mi ka se me emotional mate urban bag be na wo ka ho asem si se wa ye engine
am ka se we ye sanso ma John Mahama akonya na me donya me se na ye be wu o my Ghana mu was 73 komina ye ko mu da emre bi etwa mu no me ne enya wo mi ma fa mani e wo mi na mo besa afu ye mi hu bia ebetwa mu wo
ba pa so se me so se wo de wa kire wa ade ma me so na ya ade pa se nke MPP amanyoku ne beto aso de aka John Dramani Mahama mbra
sa ho
aka Mahama MPP beto aso de
na ya se wa he eno ni ade
MPP candidate na nye
na ya se wa no ni ade na ya sometimes no ya na eye manage said anya John Mahama ba odo se mle bi etwem no ye mo na mo ka se mi se manager mahama wo no man ni mo de so na sika kodi
na
no na wo no
na sidi ni ho
yeah dollar so
dani say bibi ni ho yes Ghana ye jede
bana na ya se wa he ye sha de bo ha say over 32 good years ni
MPP 16
NDC and always me nkofo ye buye say ye John ye nkwasiafo omofo ye nya hye nkasa o man Ghana mu wa say and ye solid ya ne ye fire tali share ya 7 December ne de kokomote kwa akoto abade ama wo mom na ne ya say wa second coming ya wo be na midonya me say John Mahama su ne ye ba be su no man Ghana mu wa say wo de we no wes man na ni mobo na wo kasa de bofu ne gu wo no mo de maye no ye ga say na dan kwaku fo adwa mama hu say na dan kwa datorodo
ba wo de babrofo ne be ma left and right
na ya say mama hu say se obi anko school kura na ya say wo obetima yeye obetima buba man amana ye na wo a wo ko school na ya say wa ni sam na wo keka na fine free SHS ni ade no me say ma me fo am wo abonten am utie ye na no pe me sere mo una na bi na waka wa akire ma enjoy free SHS odo say free SHS na ya say wa na te say e say na ko ye ba na ya say ebo ma fo bebre na kasa wo man Ghana mo say me wo say ablantie bi akwa chorogu ni ex awo kase as a free senior high school na dan kwakufu ado de ba o man Ghana mu ase no ambe boa ya ni ade nsemo de na ya se wa bon papa ni mi nyanka na wesi awo makobi the Suleiman Abrantepa or executive director of Media Foundation of West Africa na isema wo kan say free SHS never no terrible system man kaza is the man fan ye man to na ko bara na ya se wa yen so hu mi se free SHS no enkoye
eno de ye nka ndado bia
ehia forma esika forma
no
obi atimi kobi ene prempe ha say so wo obi a wo hia ne wo ni sika ni na ekwa akada bed so enzo ga any connect na wo ni sika ye rap share enti na free SHS ne de ebe boy but just say as a niema bi na to sina na kese komuti me boa ya but ama ne say but me de be me ya me say John Mahama be ba mu
no be ba betwem
when twem kro be kase 50-50
50-50 ne so de ebushia me ka kire mo say John Dramani so no we di kayaka won betwem na mo me kasa na aka say wuntwem na wetwem eti de so senior ono aka ro man ni mo aye de ya bibia manyokuo no wo ma buru ekegu ho no mebushia enya asem keto no me kama mo nyina mo de atumutiri ho say John Dramani Mahama bampo na free senior high school no wentwem ma definitely sa 50-50 na ya de be ba be yedua e wo man Ghana because MPP amanyoko no recently ATP na de ba bonten say kecho creation say ye wo mo de wo mo ka wo nya bibia frefrem atehye fo osu ene ade intinis when na nso no ye hwe sene na da no John Dramani Mahama no akasa de ne nsami tudwa se o wo no ade ba ko na ewo ni tirimu anu o hwe ne say na enti o sha ase progressively no na o hu ne say MPP amanyoko no yisuku adan ni ade a ono John Dramani Mahama o yesu osi 200 schools na nyame ya adum no tumi wie 44 ka 40 ni de no wa akakakra akase ye bebo so ni ade nti ka MPP bo ba ye no ank wo mo complete se single school bia no se ye befa nipa ba ko be 1000 nti sa 44 schools o tumi wie ye na busua 44,000 enye student ketwa na so de akaye no wo ma abande nyina no na ma wo be bi kode na bi ko na green yes green gold ne dabe track system at the end of the day no mo from ba na fie be 3 months wo mo ko treasures wo mo wi aye promote wo mo ko SHS 3 ba de ma ko ye fa ne so say wo be wie bia no wo be show wasi na mo frɛ ya pass
eno ne ahonwase mewu
no na ya say wa the day no mo fra na be chro no na wo be obi be say frying carrots we in chase
benya F9 na say ye hwe na no mpe school ba
no
no benya F9
itu wo homode
yeah
ni yenim market but emofra na ya ade itu John Dramani Mahama ne dia chese wo dia aba no efa school ni mo si obili bia baba bontin bia no say ya dia baba bu o man Ghana nko andia so amaka so mu betwem na wono be ye mampani a ye betwem ni ye twem wo ka so ye toaso na wono be ye mampani a ye to aso wo maka 50-50 no no be ye mampani a 50-50 no e ya de a e koso ukokromoti e na be kire bebi a wo man Ghana e be kwa wie coming 2025 any afia e di yenim no MC ayako the next one or say I will appoint people who are modest and John Dramani Mahama say share Ghana for mo kama kuma ntumi yem se me John Dramani Mahama nyame ya adom na motu aba emamia me like me francofu a wo mo yem modest ba ministers na wo me for bi obeka che Ghana for nyina say mo kwa de my fortunate enough say mutumi eja mo na guru obem wo no wo ba de francofu a wo ma dream donkofu aja say wo mo nim kasa ye pa obi obeba beka che say wa kwa timetable bla e bi eno de anya de a wo no John Dramani Mahama e ba be so akosia John Dramani Mahama kasa fa de ka ho
ne kasa bebebe na wakasa ni nyina no me se Ghana man ni nyina etimi di omkokoromoti kotoma John Mahama na chese yebedi omo ho ya pa all because we din kan ba yinim waba be di president oba ye ne mo papa be no de maye wanye ye hwe it is a name of benjina kasa oba free senior high school no obeji atumbe no obe mo pass bill na ma ye ya na chese me hu ni so e yantro bi no wo twa
okay ono na wu ni jidie woni mo e ba na school ne kra se wo ba de le bia wo ma pass da ho bia no wo be je to ho ne de wu ni jidie wo ho
dab na oba ne de no ba be ye because in time and nanado de ba is a free senior high school no oba be ye no ono ne de by sign ye ntimi nye nanado ntimi nye
okay
it is a saying watima ya ma na di mu na say aye yi na ekọ kakra so de wo de e ba adenti na that 2016 and I said 2012 na ba ye no one father see free senior high school number nti be me hu ne say ne hyehyɛ ya na wo ye no say campaign de ano de o ka bibia be magana fo nyina be ka say o de yes anto ma ye president dada na say ye ko to ma ye president dada so de anan de ye hu de ye mfanya ye that is a faso we ni nyina no ehu hia ma yen
okay na sisi anso de wo sese nyame yadom no oba e ba the ministers ne ade a wo be fo wo na wo mo ho ti a wo mo betumi aboa wo man Ghana ho so den na be ka fa
ni nyina na wo ka ne de ye tobe because me me hu ne say ono ne pe plan bi o de be tin crofo
okay
say oba opposition now ono ne de enkrofo mo nim de o mo adwen mu do de ba be si wonom no na then from 2012 no nim say ye won crofo mo wa adwen kese a o de on ba be di ana nti say wetimi abe we say one thing say ye Ghana no e ya na yen dwen kwache yen kai echi
esipen
so ati ase
so no na be ka say Ghana for dem wa refi
ye was short memory it say ye person e kai ni say that short memory ne de ni hobium
okay
ye nim de obetima ye na ye nim de otimi nye we na wo kan ni nyina no ye na da bi na ode ba
ATV
na ya se o
and yakusha boachi wasi o esema wa kana ndie if I come I will appoint people who are modest humble to serve in my government who voted president in ade who ne sheshe kwa then abeka fa
na do dan kwakufu ba se me no wan ka kire
na do so de wo de betu ye nimpa o so
na ya se wa me bo a
na se shomba mba ina wo me na do na show mahama then na mo kike
so no han
show mahama na show na do
ma ya fa franka ni mani sem se ubo wa manfo be kwa form so mebu ye so
eti me no nya adwen
kino for ya tampopo no kino for ya da we di esika ni na dan kwakufu ara chema afio ma di esika die na ya se wa ye se so no wa for wa sa be bu o ma na ya se wa John Mahama wo kasa se me se wo banes na den time 2012 to 2016 na me hu ni se ye papa no na adwum ne nya enkodi was a man for the boy man na say no mu nkoye cause say amama ti ase sa say nka den time no na nka beka asase me den ka me ni issue but this is the time baba say afa na wo baba be choose ni Paul madwene mu do omonim nyansa omonim nimdiadia na say 2012 to 2016 ministers are we omunyina na omunye sankwas ona na yase wa na onemenya ajo
ne kasa wo kan eno ano
no na yase wa se wutimi bia ya no kasa asem me kira me dia na se ministers awo for 2012 to 2016 na omuni made na o ma bon omutimi mu o man Ghana fa ne ntoma perfect afei mom na baba be twisi na de bia da ya na mbusa se Say Jubilee House one with the Musa John Mahama mama say ne die ne da ho. Eno na me problem. So nim say ne sika no na asa. Wo de one kan say ye wo go pesika de ama no. Say so Johnny ne kwen 10 pesos so one na the one kan be man bi. Because John Mahama ne sam na ya wo gika no. Si ye di na nimu pa de kokromoti ko to oba pa de man of 2024. Nana meaning send this formal comment section mo ba be chabo me me say yesi an ma fa more tanatare. I don't care about you did atema wa be didi mo ho no. All I see on na ya say wa mo mi afo no kra nto wonom ne hu ni say MPP ni NDC 32 good years na ye o ma be bo o man Ghana bia de ni ye hwehwe no ye nsaka mo mi ancha no ye nsaka kra Niampo bi obetima bu o man ya ma o man Ghana fa ne ntuma pefra senka obetima bu o man Ghana tumpon obetima bu yi ministers bia ma o man Ghana fa ne ntuma pefra anka 2016 2027 ni mom no ka menya sure kra senka obeko opposition.
Okay.
Nana ya sa what ma say ka menya sure senka John Mahama that time no obeko opposition me ko fa na dan ko Kufu Adua what dada is a kwa the John
oh ba Kufu Adua dada ye kra na ntse Mahama ene de no kra de ho anu ya ka
seven abuachi
so ti ase
omo na ya pe
no kra de ho anu aka
de bia me ka me se me e ban infrastructure. I will keep on saluting John Dramani Mahama because the works this man has done. MPP Amanyoko comparing NDC 4 years. Yeah. MPP Amanyoko 8 years I will still give that credit to NDC Amanyoko because John Dramani Mahama no wa boy Juma sa 4 years no MPP Amanyoko wa boy Juma. MPP 8 years finish high school. We finish. Oh,
apart from some roles in Subebre wa ye. Oh,
we John Dramani John Dramani Mahama.
John Dramani Mahama why you ba ti akofia tie me. I said your work as a so ba bio ba ye
no cast one me no me no cre
Ayan try. Ma menchira wa de me kan say John Mahama nya bi e na me so me kan say MPP abai omo ye bi
wo me nyina ye
ye bia na da koku for the pro wu kura na da chi bia de be ka ni so de ba ye no ye free SHS bi o man Ghana mu ase ma ni gina ye wagi ade no e na sizi aka nya de be ko ba bia bi ba asema me kan say MPP ni NDC 32 good years o de kan okode
oh na de
Ghana. And I said Ghana and African country are independent first. And so called different African countries, because they are developing, but Ghana that's what ya. Share education system I yes a baller. Ye BBN one my echo yo my God more say. And now we copy market center so we kwa then you want the Ghana city so part of so dear baby for this say that me wa. And me wo shall for ye school tifie. And nurses for teachers for now say kwa for kwa ba so mo ba mo enya da bi sie ba go because say MPP amanuko na go Kufu Adua muka it to me the make can say John Mahama say can no wo person wo bo man Ghana mo man Ghana for ne to ma pefra wo bi na no ka je say afa no ba you ministers a manjuni mo do o mo nim nyansa o mo nim dia aka 2016 that time at the late at a mouse, a Janet Chidima no. And I guess I call upon a woman ye. And me was a doom so chronic a more position in him say, a doom son and Malcolm and another Kufu Adua by one being decided a more summer back him. But doom son a chicrana sewa. Ya papa ye near be an answer for Tagana for any you knew would be. And to me, the name say my worker ministers gas one outside do a more back.
Oh, so we no waka o se obe from
na ya se wa hwan mo
enkrofo wo mo ye ha mo
na hwan mo
se ne dia wo so wo ba nti Ghana for mo nya to bo
what na ma mention about the Ghana o ye penny for ni bibi ye nya ni to me sha wonsa eno ano no usuba ya sesa
eno ano no because nipa na oba no ye humble dada
o ye humble no wo baba so therefore to me ni sha ne nsa said you know for real near what did you when you want what do you see dear baby sin no said you walk na po me ni so you be wo boy say wo nana ya say baba me kasa
me ya ba di kaya tena fidie mu hanisi ya
say wo kunu nana ya say
me sama mu say
me kasa say de wo kunu na po now you didn't be energy minister education minister na ni wo gide woni mu a wo kweke kan say bi na mafo ayi ma no te say Ghana map mu twobo no na the same thing na MAHAMA ba no bia no koyiri amaye
sa
o me kan for he me say o de ye masa me janfi ye masa me janfi minister of my Ghana le social dey be so
na me be ka say John Dramani MAHAMA ye won krofo bi ho no ma wo ba no wo fa wo mo se wo mo be ye minister se no so oba be fa nkofo mo ye hambo nkofo mo ye modest no se bi ye krofo ye ni tue MPP ministers ni MP so ni MPP for so MPs NDC ni MP fo nyina no wo mo ye pe MPP ni NDC fo nyina ade se bia wo ba na bi o fa na ya asewa o se medie na mo ana bu sha se me ho
na ya
ye no ye ka no kre ye humble
nana ya ma menka se menchire who say we ye humble ba onya chicken change kakra bi e so ho a no ana osuban asesa e say we there
wo kai say baby me ka say nyame ya adom na me toka ejuma ne me jai
so ati ase
ya ro pa ma na
intina no there ye ni obi a ho
anyi do
for minister ye be atu
e bi akoko anyi do wo na kasa mu no e ya de a NDC amanyoko no wa polo wa le ba akoko ade a sha ne sada wo mo saba employee ne say wo be ye minister ni enkan kuro ma de ebusua NDC amanyoko ni secret wo de be ba abonte no enya asem ketwa na ATP ye nra third one mu ye national cathedral nana ya se wa matena fidie manum se ya bompa ya chechwe di amponyankopon se so wasuchie bia wedam national cathedral yi so MPP abai wo mo she ne ba wo mansia wo ma ne koda na do dan kogu fado ne busuafo so etasa me nana ya se wa meti hei hana ATP eti hei akohwe kwa boachi wo ti hei wan Ghana city MPP amanyoko ne ba wo mo ma ye bindiye entini sana na do na kogu fado na nya ne ho akwani kotojenim abampaye akache rade ashe rade be rade ma mi di nkuni ma be ba be si national cathedral de amawo na se national cathedral no wo ba ye no wo ma na ka fom ho no de enye nyankopon papa na so wo ba be sa basampaye na mu se wo waso chie bi ama ne nko ne so na me na ya so wo ma ne ba o man Ghana for nyina so be ye me ya especially royal fast of atija dwumedie na roji a wo ji na ni ye na ni ye nim hu bi na o man na ye wo mu no so we ba no obedi mampeni at the end of the day no wadane ejuma wo ye nyina egu na de bia na de ba kwa ya na ye me problem pa ye national cathedral no saint national cathedral ya MPP amanyoko wo mu di sikam pempempem di ewremu yi se NDC amanyoko ne ba sa national cathedral no wo mu jaro na sa nyaare ne so ne anwe ne so saa anase ye ba begugu ni ye dia ba ba ye den anwe ni ade egu national cathedral site no shu ne busha sa bia me no okay wo mo sa anwe ne ton abo ni ade nyina no they are selling it go and buy everybody come and buy into the wo mo si foundation na aka fom no eno so wo mo ba be contractor and wo mo be frame si kojo shaibu no ade the shovel aba no ba be yi blocks ni de free mo anase NDC amanyoko ne ba eden wo mo be sa bia me no ka say die sika ekowura national cathedral ne mu no John Dramani MAHAMA so wo ba wo be make sure say wo mo be de yi akom wo mo be rewre mu ne sika wo mo che ne eto we ne yeyi no se nukura bi wo ma na nukura bi su ni ma those to be held responsible no wa so wo mu say twetwe ATP
nana ya se wa
ne fa de to aswe
nana ya se wa
ATP
ebi ani o
okay
MAHAMA ebi ani onse asema na meka asa obeka asem de achire yi ba nyina ye ni chia cathedral yi woni wa ndi se money ko no 6 March
na muko bia
na ho na muko bia no me yara ya se wa de me chiro me life mu ni ntro se nyankopon ba be chiro obi aso na wo de also be asotwe na fa no me chiro me life mu kokko all I serious na ya se wa me chiro me pesa ade no wa wani chia se nyankopon twe obi aso so obi je me ba u ba be hwehwem Yem penny for the side and I say wa come one on the door. And now dear John Mahama by Cathedral Clover or then a nuclear quackle say be and I say be a drew and I say Debbie mean yes sure said John Mahama ever yes I goes one my say MPP for na nema bebrene go na wo ba na nema no baba be ye ezi John Mahama ba na wo ba no so wo baba be hwehwe baby asika bi awere bi o this for ne ba na 7 o ma MPP for ba 7 o ma wayomi and ye ba ya bet na so sika bia wayomi adi bia be hwehwe the same thing to na John Mahama nya dia kati o come na to etim say sika na akoshem de wadi sika bia no na ya se wa o enko bia enko bia wana na ya
we sure $65 million in national cathedral was sure no about just what they are coming to audit it audit the amount invested in the national cathedral
na ya se wa
no o kan asema ya na say o kan na say cha no na ba be si
nipa ye ni na ma me ka se me so obi asonso na kan pen ho obi a wo wa kan o sonso na no osuro nipa ye nim na wia no ye so kan ni ahwe na wo asema na mu kan mu betina ba mu sikai mu di bi de wayomi ye MPP for ba na me nim de kan BP for mo be kan sa asem ne MPP amaduko ni so ye bi o magina wonu ma hye nyankopon bo se ye ba ye besi cathedral de ama e besi nekoti academy e na eduro ntimi nyini ye ba this time ke ye bo so kura nkan chenga na fo ye sika bebrebe na komu wo ho no kopie mo site on ma se de na ya se working ya tonton niema na e wo so ni nyini na materials e wo nyina ya ton na wo ba be mu Baba ya dia boy ya cathedral na ye sika kom na ye hu so fa so no baba ye dey
say we say one thing they say Ghana ye bra ye brain na no edina ya yesu ono ni nua baba ya dia na anko yie no ono no e ba no ba be church na bisa ne se oba be si cathedral na o meye because ade ono ni nim say NDC na sha ase de ono so ma meye ade o we nim say bia NPP na sha ase ono so ba o metoa so nti ade nti na oba ka ho asem say oba eno na oba be check ho sika na yi akom ya ka che pe ho calculation bi wa ha
so on wo mu ne say NDC MPP amanyoko no they are corrupt wo me du o my Ghana sika wo me wie wo my Ghana ntire wo mu so wo mu ba fa so ate say ebo a wo mu betumi di aboa Ghana fo na no na wo mu ba be na eno kwa na di mepiepie ma kwa pie mu modern Ghana wo pie mu modern Ghana yes after telling Ghanaians that the economy is terribly broke the transition team of the ruling National Democratic Congress NDC spent over 1.35 billion Ghana cedis on tea, water, snacks and lunch during its sitting. As part of the expenditure of the transition process, the Atanos-led Social Democrats and I Care For You party chose the bill of 3,619 billion to Ghanaians, further emptying national coffers at a time that government was claiming to be cutting down costs. One my Ghana na ye woman ebushia NDC ba ye wo be dibi MPP ba ye wo me be dibi kroma ya na yete ena Richard Japa eni Attorney General wo mo sensem atofo asen yesi eyi ambulance ya ye won ko credit time e ba bonte se eye ntonturo wa NDC amanye ko ni nya wo mo ho ebe ye press conference chenchirenche ebushia na krom hanum sei enya asem ketwa anu wo mo cha se NDC amanye MPP amanye ko no pese wo mu gu wo menim ase na sa ambulance ni ade no enye no krede biara da sa to force ndi ntontoro wa na baaye NDC for MPP for so baaye o so mo forget it esi educate ya num na kika na se bi o chochoro NDC amanye ko na bo my Ghana ka MPP for there wo mo ya NDC for so NDC for ya wo mo se MPP for there so enu ti na make a kira mo se MPP for ko na NDC ba ebushia wo mo ba the same thing. The next 4 years, more say Chomohaba. I told you people not to vote for NDC. NDC is corrupt. NDC by woman bedi Ghana sika say bedi say you know. Yenja womo. NDC catch us womo bad they are come to fight corruption. Meanwhile, NDC vote during that time they were so scared because no man born my neka. Hey, a whole president to be carried on work confirm that to call. Obi aka ho hwe. Plant here by ya man fans na dum so kroma ya na yete ya sabate wo mo to say the amount of money they claim they used in purchasing that American plant is never true. Eno so yenja no wo mo ani oga AP before so ba ye busua wo mo so be wie o man Ghana wo mo kra de ye kase ye bro wo mo de na wo ma ye bi ni national cathedral ya ye papa so wo no de nyame ya do na so ba waba be check sa nyema ni nyina no sisi a wo man na ye tim no metuo bisa say nti wan pa ni ye nchini ndi say waba obetumi aba be jo man Ghana ATP
na na ase
why na ba obetumi aba be jo man Ghana
na na ase wa Nyakopon bo 7 December ni boto aba de metima kan na se Nyakopon a wo de ba asase so ono aboye wono anyi president
mhai
but me sanso dwene ho na hu se dabi na doko akufu adrie ba tama no oba no
nyame yi ne ma ya na
because etie nsema na ekoso ene Nyakopon na yi na mai ya je nkwa
ukai eyi o so bempa
what you say
what na sorry dan nyina be si wo ses wo wini a ye hye no
na ne asewa na miss tena se nyina mse dabi
o yesa mo ma ye Nyakopon ye hu se ne ye se fa enyo
enya na asewa media maka ye nyina ye okromu ha hwe wase tena mu ye ne konokoto aba
okay
usunya na woda so no mane ka bibi nkyerɛw ne ko efa okokromuti koto aba men koto aba fun na okoto aba fun ye nyina na yete obi enya passport ye nya visa ne de ye nyina yete krom ha
ana ye nyina ye bebre
na ye nyina ye bebre
mo pa mo nto aba fun mebre o bebre eno ne asem
no ebi kwana me de far better than you
no
enti na okoto aba na adwene ho yie ansa na wakwa akoto aba
okay akosia why na wo sha wo betumi abedu o manga na so age ye free o hawde amane ye nemu
say me ko point say aso masine medi so anan dia ya say aye ba say no e wo say Ghana yetena se ne calculate NDC amenyo buo na obaye no juma obedi ma ye emo abai na yenya free ne time nim ne en check NPP so ne time no so no mo papa bai na yenya free mu
o mani de ko na limit se ne NDC for de ne tie ne nyesa na NPP for de ne bai
so ati ase nti na e wo say yetena se ne check yetese ye ho
but me bisa wa wuti we say NPP amanyokuo ni NDC amanyokuo no why ana alankojo chairman ne cheda no why na to you ne die wo so oba obetumi aba bebo manga
oh to me no say yatena se ye NPP ni NDC ache nki yenya kwan a yesesan mu anke beboa ba yesesan ye mu no nso no mintimi ntwizi ni pa wo medi so because obia ne na no opa no ba no so be ne die beba
manu o se cheda mbra na cheda ba wo ATP aso se oye we ni na ngemi
na ya se wona wo se abrante pasese ho ya
o se cheda mbra na cheda ba
obeye bibia nya be ma na nya me nwanwa cause opese po ba ha say na eja wo hu epo kakra wa ya asante regi ha say
ebusi ame pa cho de to use de wo shy ATP no
ba epo na waka ye nsa epo na waka ye de kwa ma je ho amenti ase epo no de fa wie ma na so de fa hefa
oh say wo everything is possible
ntiti se say no asase no Kumasi asase na wo honom no mo nsese hefa pote ne de po ne to a ebeboa so ame na tese mutu nkofo mo so ame nyina na
so ame no na na kokufu ada so be bo honom ntimane enti
mutu nipa na wo ho ni nyina afiri ho
say den time na na kokufu ada so be bo honom mo to no mo to ne menyina mo pa mo ho
ya te busia
ATP what you say me ba kro ebusi abaye mo the next point I say nobody in my government would be allowed to buy state property. Me say yanams where they big shops are where they have to be and I want to say pay and they my bride champo we san say Senator for na ba bonten say one mo share sa one mo wo various hotels and near ade nyina no womo eton womo ye ya brand champo wiase mo nyina sikeni ane wo sika krase me na ya se wa miti he wasi o wa de se mo ton ne ya mi akasa mi mo no me ton mi di si ma beti so na mi ami mo ma ton na me to a na ejamia me de aye adwuma nti sa short ya wodi media wo bi eni chia na NDC amanyokuo no ATP
na ya se wa
menya nti yese John Dramani Mahama yese September port said yes o de kasa na me make me fight well me check me fight so oba shares ni ade o ma ne government de obi e no no beto state property
na ya se wa senko ya mo ba be mo kura na etoto na kese o mi akosia
oh no crap
mo kura na eto na kese ko le nye fediagro wanga ne mo na brand champions se me be to so be 14 fidie se wo kwa akoto dan ni ade keke ho na me no atinsa no pani e ka bibi se enya boni bi asa ba de amana koye boni ne se na ban e na wa ba mu enti obi ade na ni bebi se wo de sika ne we o economy ni masima ye den na wo tam se sika we akosua akwa dan bi se na se mo MPP amanuko mo ye timemufo na
okay
mo kire ekuye no enti se ne de John Mahama ebi na no aka asem ya kire ya John Mahama daddy yati ye ne so akoto yi wo Dubai na se kura ye se wato
na his case ne so ehu yes ade akoto nti se ne nya ye se hit na allegedly yes wo me here first na ye wo jumedie bi NDC amanyokuo I think say member of parliament edema asewase I am sure
me referee
NDC me kwa me referee
na ni ma beda manim papa
yes I know for country CB yes sister enye building ketuo
na make say
na nkrofo wo hu yes a wo mu yi wo manimo na wo bi obi fufuro na nimbom
ya
ba beda ho nti wo bechu mu time bechu
na ya say wa
utumi ndi
enti no eya de a mo bakra mo be mu ga kese me no ese mo mpanifo nyina obi anu ma megini di eya de a wo ba he mo beto to akese na nsen yeti yesesa me jenfie ko to dan was a transaco se he and no abeti chacho no wo se onye no kra ni ade ati ase ko se ma ban na wo so ba na ya se wa de ma MPP amanuko ni mra NDC emra power ese enu nketi abekọ UK transaco obeji wo nyina okọ East Lagos obeji wo nyina sa se wo nyina wutimu kro obeji
ade na make ukọ Google yes John Dramani Mahama sold Temaport to his friend for $7 billion for 35 years.
Okay.
John Dramani Mahama. One was should I can say wo ba che say shares ni ade
me say omunyina no krenkren to krankran yenye ba ko film ni enfa bi nka ho omunyina ye pe
okay
nipa no ba ka say o ye nton state but the moment oba be disono no mo na tonton njapade ni nyoma e wo Ghana ha no Ratri Park say ya ton e wo bi
MPP net so nti so o ma
so be ka say ye we ya
MPP for mom so de o ba e wo ma ju o mo
o ma be so ni
o ma
na
NDC officers mess ni ade esisi wo ho no menka matem kra de etai
na so ati ase
we ye tubi kra de we tubi de tumi share sem ko juro bi dan na
enye nsehu no
oman ye wo mu no
oman no ye nyina no obi nya bibia instead say obedua no oman nim no ofendua no de atukwa na akwa ye no amanone
so dollar na so won fa so since this
na say ni kwan si e mamumu bia nso be di president wa ha
ye nya obia suggest say before sana ko bi be ba be di o mampani wo Ghana no ye suku a ne mako because wo mako school wa brochire a se bi wo betua fees ri wa brochire at the end of the day no your man Ghana ye yin sika na ye bre ne na wo de kwa kotua
so ati ase
but say ni pay
wo pay a wo adwen papa wo utiri mu a ye wo school sa papa wa ha obi ama miska bi asa menya advertisement mi mo obi edi ba ye wo school sa papa wo ku ekusa girl school bi e wo ho no sister enye school ketua Kumasi Santa se patasi ho see there na be no school papa you was school sa papa wo krom hanum say mo government school no you don't want to invest in it mo pesa body be remo at the end of the day no kwachuwa ni mo achiwa for meya no mo tumi ko government school
we say
can you be wo krom hanum say you betumi aka chem say ne ba ko di na say ne ba ko area na say ne ba ko atopa senior high sikeni bia ni krom hanum abranche ya mebe obeye ne say yanto abanfama yi ono angasa be kan je say ne ma ne nsani ade yi na no ko school abroche je say ye na say ye no djumadi monko fa mama no mo abroche no mba ga na beto aba na
say one thing is say ye impanyefo no ma degrade Ghana system na me hu nipa wo so ye minister anase bi even kwa no hene kra no ne man eco school abochi na te say na ye ko school Ghana nde ye ne sabe no adwe ni aye ne de te say ye
ana ya sewa and na mo sana meka say na me share all African countries in the education system Ghana ye na ye reto na ye manigu pa
na da bi nka pese o da say
Africa
anka
Ghana na that wo
ya we
Togo ne Nigeria ne Kenya mo Ghana na that wo
na see e kan Ghana system ne poor system ne poor
ya we kwa de meko gogo share kai
Ghana ya we
don't go ba ya we kra na me ne enye big news mame
say ya da 5 okra ya we
enye big news mame
ya da number 2 okra ya we 3 okra na ya say wa ya we
sa
ya we
top 10 she baby a gogo she de men
ana ya say wa like serious we ya penny for na nkasa no omo ye say enam say debia dan mu time cry be kwa akoto abana ma ho
okay
ti said dey wa men kase wukum ti said dey papa bi esi a no no na ye running mate be ka chere say dey hia ni t-shirt ni cheche the same thing nya bi ko adua no my 100 cedi ni 200 cedi sa ene ba be campaign chinchini chankasa e dey amount enti empani for na mo ya ho say wono na ya say wa na wo nipa no on be yale wa ha say na wo nurse ni a wo di protocol akọ nursing school di fa pan e be won ne kuna na won ti ase obekọ Germany na se Canada akọ hospital akọ sana ho yare na ya say wa wono na fa ne ma emra Ghana high school na mo so le A for apple, B for ball, C for cat da bi da
na we ma check
top 20 kra no
top 20 me kwa
Ghana ye nimba ko kra
top 10 kra Ghana na me Tunisia Mauritius ne South Africa ne Algeria Botswana Kenya Cape Egypt Namibia ne de keka nyina na just a top 10 ne de wo na just a top 15 group top 20
enti Ghana ye bibia no na ya se wajo ayati se be me mama fan cheme ti se ye no fu no ajogo no na jawanya abrantie bi na kwa koda dem na wa pompe no fu udru dem na no fu na e se ti se no na bibia sei na ya se bibia nkoye wo my Ghana mo asei enti ye panimfo ne de abro ne de aso mo ma enti se ma jo MAHAMA ekika kire mie se wo ba wan hwe enti jo mento beti maka chembe pa me se wo da de hwenyankopo anim se wo wunyi 10 pesos ka se wo de ko to bibi e ko to asase
wo so wonye kron me
me se esi du nketia ka se wo yi sika ni bia koto dan na se wo yi ni sika e
wa mo nyi
e fa ko she esi du nketia ono abeye na ade e fa ko she obi
se wa omo nyina abeye
na se de mo pesa mo ka se NDC for ya for today I'm sitting on this platform to say NDC Amanyoko join the man in MAHAMA so when he comes coming 2024 nobody is going to sell state property nobody will buy state property and he is going to fight corruption you people should wait and see
when you na mo so mo my Ghana mo da mo fa ngoko mo ti ko tun oba ma no
e ho na mo behu
se de ko asu mi da bi na to na ma ayo bi no uti fi e be kwa to da ya ba ayo bi ti wo
na no no you miska wo ba to da ya na you no na
ko ni ato ja ti da mo ba
e ne pocket money
na da gwa ku fo do ne wa se wa bro ni ena sika ya mo tam ya na hwi na mu dwade mu ni ade na ya se
by ebusa ye fa gronto nche ye mpenifo na ammo e ya ammo nya sa ade no ade akwa de we be ma na wo aye waware na abe champion abe fa ire chi e ya mo fancy wo hye John Dramani Mahama ne yere pa se be atuo nie na ye ti krom ha nim se na papa no de wo krom ha na do da ko ekufu ado me pesa meka de eto aso no watumi akofo se wa broni achipimpinisi di abo wuyem na wo hye yi a wasa chipimpinisi abushia enye asem ketwa wo gu Rebecca ni mase mu gu meni mase ministers ni ya pese wo krom ha ma fa side chick fa ebede na bia ye wonka sa pocket money mpo na wudi ye ya ebede na Ghana phone kan to say ye o my god sika sebe mu ko do so mu tumi kan fa ntwom kakra na tumi kan ntwom kakra
anesika na
wo ya yesie
onya dey
Abranti yeska obi yeska wonam konko
na ya ne ba say me by the champion dey me dey bia me kam sesan ko ma wo bi di nanim koya ka we nyina emma wo ma wo bi fufo di nanim koya ka we nyina emba ATP I think say free senior high school has come to stay John Dramani Mahama em say yedi kan ya bobo so a o si free senior high school no de mutumu tan about the stay enko be bia biom
the students for the ekra ne kosi say nka wo ye former borders for no cause omo na chies kana the students no o firifie ba na wadi banku de na border ni na woti school na ya say wa me say free senior high school na ina de be stay da
stay na wo
me no oba ni sema o heka ni nyina ne say ba be stay ana say no meme hu ne say eye na da bi if say be stay kra na nyoma bi wonum na obeyi afiri ho e bia feeding fee feeding e ne de obeyi afiri ho no ndo mo amu betua ma de na de aka de na obefa nti stay pa de ense dan be stay
ebusia na say free senior high school at John Dramani Mahama so no de wo ba it will never and ever roll back ebe jira baby e wona wo bebua wo so wono de o se ebe o ye ne progressively no mu sisi schools ento ono oba a man of infrastructure mo fa fans ne man e bue won de wonya ba ye pena what sisi schools adani bia kana free senior high school no ebe tumi aba beka e wo man Ghana 24-hour economy eye question ba ko Ghana for ye bi say John Dramani Mahama what continue here for 8 years who buy a policy ne say I was 24-hour economy 24-hour economy and then I will buy the ama Ghana for for sure be pa na Ghana for e ba benya e dey free 24-hour economy no wa ba be cheche wakasa dia for security ho wakasa e dia for kwan ya wo mo be for so ye say dia amafo bi dwa wo benum na o my Ghana ye 24-hour economy dani ade o se emunja sade na mu emunja hwehwe nim ne de no e ye policy asa 24-hour economy na wo de ba no e ba be ka wo man Ghana mu a obi antumi e members se bibia enfrem sa so e no de bia to aso se e was transportation ni ade nyina no wono no we put it in place o when you be baton wa cha no pa ni enwumre we put it in place and no kwanti na mba bi atwem wa mo kofa ya lolo bus ba ye ja ye na adodan ko egu fo ado ba ye lolo bus aba ba we ne sese bo achi bi di ye kwa ni ko tie sansem we so emra sisia.
And the first question was about the 24-hour economy and the countries that are implementing that policy. Indeed, there are several countries implementing it. And as you said, Ghana would probably be one of the first in Africa to begin the implementation of this policy. It is not new. For those of you who have access to the 40-year development program, which was passed under my administration, the issue of the 24-hour economy was embedded right in there. And it is meant to accelerate our productivity. It is meant to increase opportunities for employment. And so the example you give for most of those European countries is that they have an aging population because birth rates are falling so low. So even as they accelerate their economies with more shifts to increase production, they don't have the labor to be able to service that 24-hour economic policy. We have an abundance of labor. We have young people willing and able to work. And that is the more reason why we even have a better justification to implement the 24-hour economy. But of course, there are people who come and say, oh, but there's 24-hour economy already. There are some businesses that are working 24 hours. Yes, they are doing that by choice. That just a few of them think that they have the capacity to work 24 hours. So it's just by the decision of the owner of the enterprise that he can implement it. It has never ever been a policy in Ghana. So the difference between what they're referring to, that oh, some companies are running 24 hours, the difference is that we're going to make it a policy, and it's going to have, you know, the guidelines for that policy and what government can do to encourage more companies to run 24 hours. That is a simple thing. And so we say we're going to bring a 24-hour economic policy. Oh, nasa omo ye dada. But we've never had a policy that regulates and guides how we can incentivize companies to do 24 hours. And I said that one of the things we'll do is give them tax incentives. Because one of the things that adversely obstructs businesses in Ghana is our high taxes. And so if you give some of these companies a tax break, it will encourage them to pump more into production so that they can employ more people. And so that's what we also have the issue of safety. Because if companies are working in the night, you must guarantee that they are safe to work. And that is an obligation of government. You don't expect the companies to go and hire security people to come and guard them so that they can work. Government must make sure that it creates a safe environment for the 24-hour economic policy to work. Aside from that, transportation. We need to provide an efficient transport network so that even in the evening, people who have to go to work can get easy, affordable transport to run. And that's why we imported the Ayalolo buses, which today are parked in some graveyard. They were never utilized. Government said they didn't have the money to implement it. But it was a combination of interest between government and the private sector. And so GPRT and all of them were involved. And it was going to run as a bus rapid transit system so that people could catch buses to and from work at whatever time that they close. And so when we come, we're going to revamp all those bus rapid transit systems and buses. Why the 24-hour economy works in some of the developed countries is at any time of the day or night when you go to a bus stop, you get a bus to transport you to work. And so government has some obligations under the 24-hour economy. There are many places that we can easily change into a 24-hour economy mode. The judiciary announced recently that, you know, judges are going to sit later than they have done. And so it will mean that people have access to justice better than if they sit the normal time that they sit. If you go to the ports, when the ships come, even at night, the cranes are working and offloading the containers. But why can't I go and clear my container at night? Do we need more customs officers? Yes. Must we get more bankers so that we can make our payments and clear our goods even at night? Yes. And so there are things that government can do to make the 24-hour economy possible. Government has its obligations, and we are going to make it a policy so that the private sector can come on board and be able to do so. People talk about demand. The demand is there. We import 3 billion worth of food products every year, and some of these things we can produce ourselves. And so you can't tell me there's no demand. If there was no demand, why are we importing? If there's no demand for vegetable cooking oil, why are we importing vegetable cooking oil? It means that the demand is there. And so if we can increase productivity, we can meet the demand, our domestic demand. But apart from that, we've been giving the advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. It says register your brand. As far as I know, Ghana has registered 70 products that it intends to export tariff-free into other countries. We can increase the number of products that we're exporting by increasing demand. We have pharmaceuticals. We have a developed pharmaceutical industry. When I was in government, I gave them money to expand their production to Binko, NS Chemist, Dan Adams, all of them. They have the capacity to increase production and work 24 hours, both to feed domestic demand and also for export. And And like I've said somewhere else, we're going to use government's financial muscle to help Ghanaian owned companies, Ghanaian registered companies. Because the market, and I'll give an example, the market for pharmaceutical products, if we give a bias towards Ghanaian made products, and even if they are marginally more expensive than foreign products, we buy them, we're keeping employment in this country. But if we go and bring those analgesics, we bring those antibiotics, we bring those cough syrups from India and other places, we are exporting jobs to those countries. And so we use government's financial muscle to give an advantage to Ghanaian registered companies so that they can produce more and employ more of our young people. And so that's to do with the 24-hour economy.
24-hour economy at a Ghana for baby na to choma shona or background my Ghana said a security system tieno a quite no about fashion by ye nani nano a tumia buano and a watch it mu ediamam tizisiano 24-hour economy no. Mahama is still standing on his ground, said 24-hour economy is coming. 24-hour economy is going to be a policy in Ghana. Oh my Ghana, you about to run a 24-hour economy. Or see about tax in the idea, we do whom commerce about tax or mobile to show near the Ghana for Monkama Kuma Elfan to me. Then on 9 days, just meet with the press and a press, and this is a meet with tax in India. And that's how your questions, yeah, about to Eddie about back and forth, yeah, tomorrow, yano, and what we be saying the same. Yeah, were lots of for my Ghana, just say, and near Manka, a buy way banu of a chassia, ye be one sa buy not the neja. I buy Danny Jana, so I buy for Roba, Woba, one but to us, no, so I buy the end of the year, no, John the money, Mahama. Sanyama winning and a quite bad or by fashion, and a war bansono, will be 4 years, he pet. 4 years on for sure depend papa na Ghana for ye benya edie finu hodi mo aye so abaye nkwa eni kotie no somra sisia.
I was speaking in Elubo when I made the statement that I made, and that statement was in 2016, and it was made to justify why I deserved a second term in office. And I believe that at that time we had made significant steps in terms of stabilizing the economy, in terms of infrastructure development. We had brought the Echabo gas processing plant on stream. We had been faced with a crippling energy crisis. We had turned it around. By 2016, we had stabilized the power situation. We had worked hard to bring 2 new oil blocks on stream, which increased the volumes of our oil production and the value of our production. We had introduced a new Energy Sector Levy Act, which today is bringing in almost 9 billion cedis a year. And so there were several things that we had done. We had established a new port at Tema. We had built a new Terminal 3 at our airport. We had expanded the Takrady port. We had expanded educational infrastructure. We had expanded health infrastructure with district hospitals and regional hospitals. We had expanded access to electricity and water. We had built new markets in many places so that we could improve trade and commerce. And so on that basis, I wanted another term to be able to continue and consolidate what I had done. And that's why I made a statement that I did. But this time, I come back to the job with experience. And I'm going to hit the ground running. And so even though 4 years is short, I believe that in 4 years, we can reset our country. And there are objectives that one wants to achieve. And I say that in 4 years, we can establish a strong fight against corruption. It is possible for a president to do that. I believe that in 4 years, we can begin carrying out constitutional reforms and reviewing our constitution. And that is an objective that I believe I will put myself to and we can achieve in 4 years. In 4 years, we can begin to turn around our economic fortunes and stabilize the economy. I don't say that it will become a land of prosperity, but at least we'll turn around the decline, stabilize the economy, and put it back onto a path of growth. In 4 years, I believe that we can ameliorate and alleviate a lot of the hardship our people are facing currently, because in stabilizing the economy and stabilizing the currency, we can reduce inflation and reduce some of the hardship that our people are facing. I believe that in 4 years we can improve our infrastructure. If we implement the big push, we want to put $10 billion over 5 years in infrastructure development. It will include roads, it will include bridges, it will include the essential infrastructure that will make our country run. And I believe that in 4 years, with the implementation of a 24-hour economic policy, we can begin to create more jobs for our people. And so, yes, I think 4 years for the reset objectives that I have mentioned, one can create a turnaround and create a platform for resetting our country and giving it the opportunity to take off. Currently, the prosecution of the Men's Gold chief executive is ongoing, but I think that it should go beyond the investigation. I don't know how far they've gone with identifying the assets of Men's Gold and identifying the holdings, validating the holdings that people had. It is only when you've done that and you know what the quantum involved in that you can make, promises and assurances of how to alleviate the suffering of Ghanaians. A lot of people really suffered under this Men's Gold, and many of our public servants and others who were enticed to put their monies in have suffered because of what has happened. And so when we come, we'll accelerate the prosecution of the person involved, but we'll also go one step further to look at what assets are recoverable and see what the quantum of investments that were made. Some people talk about some amounts of money, but I don't have that validation. It's until we have that validation that we can make an assurance that some restitution can be made. I'm aware of the case in court, and I don't want to comment on it in order that I'm not in contempt of court. But I would say that the security services are different from the public services. And that is why the head of the security services is called the Commander-in-Chief. Security rules and ethics are different from what we have in the public services. And so if you are a Commander-in-Chief and you cannot even change your guard, then change the Commander-in-Chief title. And so, without prejudicing what is going on in courts, let's see what the courts say. But I do believe that we should be able, if you ask me, I do believe that we should be able to put the right people in the right places at any time in order to ensure the safety of our republic. If you do happen to have a security chief who is not effective, and because we pass a judgment that the president cannot touch him, it affects the safety of the citizens. And when it comes to safety of the citizens, it is something that we must take seriously. If a public servant makes a mistake, the consequences are not immediate. But if a security chief makes a mistake and we lose a life or people suffer harm, the consequences are irreversible. And so we must look at everything that goes with it. But let's leave it to the wisdom of the courts to make a decision, and then we'll decide how we all go forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I can see the 2019 Journalist of the Year, Samson Ladi Ayinene here. Go to, no. That side is in a red and black smoke. My Fulani brother, Umaru Sanda, you are next.
I'm Regional Balance.
Regional Balance. Paka Wilson, Ashanti Regional, I'll come there. Then the sports journalists are here. Sadiq Adams, you're still here. Michael Utieje, Pakwesi Asare, I'm coming to you. And His Excellency has told me that you'll be extending the time, so don't worry. Senior, the floor is yours.
It's refreshing to hear about what could be done about corruption. And Mr. President, when you were voted out, I encountered many civil society leaders who said the corruption was endemic, and extending the time of the NDC would mean the corruption will get worse. I hear the same civil society leaders repeat the same thing, that at least one benefit we can get as a country is not to keep a government in for 8 years because the corruption will get bad. I don't believe that we must get to elections before we can get what we deserve. I believe citizens' power ought to be exercised without the kind of repression we see with the police today, so that a young man, a PhD, Oliver Bakavomawo, is facing prosecution, staging a coup on Facebook. That ridiculous thing. I don't know if you will instruct your Attorney General to file a nolle prosequi to stop that nonsense. Now, you kept repeating reset, reset, reset. I believe it must be a very important word to you. In Kenya today, there is a reset, and the citizens are forcing it. 47 corporations, SOEs, are being dissolved. 50% of the president's advisors are losing their jobs. My question to you is, 8 people were killed in elections in 2020. We are 4 years down the line. Those lives must matter. Sure. Over 200 people in Ashaiman were brutalized by the army, and I wrote about it as state-sponsored terrorism against them. 180 of them were arrested by the military, manhandled and released without anything. As we speak, nothing has happened. What have you done as the opposition leader about these things?
Thank you.
What will you do about these situations?
Thank you very much. You see, I've given you a lot of time, so when I come on Newsfile, kindly return the favor. Umar Zanda.
Thank you, Sami. Good evening, Mr. President. My question is, we are at the Kempinski Hotel. A few meters from here, there's a hole that has been described variously as the world's most expensive hole. My question is, when or if you become president, will you cover that hole, complete the hole, or convert the hole? That's my question to you. And just across the street from that hole is the Office of Special Prosecutor. What's your plan with the OSP? Thank you so much.
For this round, I'm going to stay here for a while. I see Yati T at the back. So let's go for a woman.
Good evening, Mekachi. And Your Excellency, my question no Yanubuchi Mame Pacho with all permission.
Thank you.
Abandoned projects. Mentia said the entire buying be able person starting a day. Near the taxpayers' money, Akobobosia. Na project needs to one up pro. Look at Saglime. EU blocks, Basa. At the end of the day, a car ya dear IMF no. Yes, Bosiana, ya bona, ya project SCC wa. Yentin completing a dear Druha. Eti me pacho Your Excellency, abandoned projects. Will big push, you know. Also will be started for. And now the war will be ye. And our first so port. Yet your taxi beer sebe nyansenim. And a Toyota Viz unkita 70 to 80,000 woodmento. I don't know why we are here. It's me patcho dear now obey because ye bre.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Alaska, Ahoto FM. Alaska. I'm coming to you. I'm staying here for a while. From here I'll be coming. I see Samuel Wontokwa Menka, Erica here, and your Bernard Havile. I know he has a question. He has a laptop in front of him.
Right. Thank you very much. My name is Alaska the Don with Ahuto FM. Mr. President, my question has to do with our universities. Most of the times we normally talk about free SHS without talking about the tertiary institutions, especially the universities. But there are a lot of challenges and problems there. Yeah. My question is, what are you doing when you are voted for as a president of this country with regards to problems going on at the tertiary institutions? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We've taken a lot. Okay, Benjamin Akakpo. I see you at the back. Benjamin Akakpo of Joy News.
Thank you very much. I have one question in two parts. Your Excellency, you spoke about the Tema Oil Refinery in May. You made mention of the fact that you would revamp the Tema Oil Refinery and that some of its problems are actually because it's a state-owned enterprise. I want to know what exactly is the plan. I feel the Tema Oil Refinery is a blot on our national conscience. What exactly is the plan? And feeding into that, you spoke about reliable internet. The last I recall, we had GhanaSat 1 launched in 2017, decommissioned in 2019. But if you paid attention to the recent internet shutdown and the concomitant effects, you would realize that we are susceptible to some of these challenges. Is your administration going to consider low Earth orbit satellite technology to ensure that we can have internet stability? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So before I move here, those of you here who still have questions, can I see you by hand? Okay, do me a favor. Is it okay to stand this way? Yes. Where can you stand in the aisle for me so that I know that you are the ones left? Once we do you, we know we are done with here. No, if you can come and stand this way. Yes, in the aisle. Just for a few minutes. Yes. Okay, you go back to your seats. I think the number is huge. I underestimated it. The number is huge. So you sit for a while. I'll come back. Let's go to Parker Wilson from Ashanti Region.
Thank you very much, Sammy.
Yes.
In fact, thank you for recognizing the importance of regional balance. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, you spoke a lot about how you're going to deal with corruption when, of course, in your next government. But then your critics say you are only flexing muscles with the wind, because as an individual, you've been accused of your flirtation with the Airbus scandal.
Okay.
I want to know how you would respond to your critics when they say that your corruption activities led to the Airbus scandal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll take one last one, and that will bring the total to 7. Okay, another person from Ashanti Region, Ufori from Mercury FM, Ashanti Region.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Your Excellency, my name is Oforiata. I work with... Please, I'm the innocent one. I'm not the notorious one. Don't be scared at all. I'm not the notorious one. Please, I can assure you that everybody is in safe hands. I'm not the notorious one.
All right, we are all yes.
Okay. I work with a Class Media Group, specifically Kumasi FM and Adansie FM in Kumasi. Your Excellency, in some times past, a member of this government died, and in his will, it became known that he had devised a plot of land in Achimota Forest for a relative, as if that was not enough. Now, there is a problem between the organized labor and government in respect of state hotels which are on the verge of being given to a cabinet minister. This week, a minister of state did tell Parliament that an amount of 399 Ghanaian cedis had been spent on the pit called the National Cathedral, at a time that what is seen and felt on the faces of the Ghanaian youth are homelessness, hopelessness, and joblessness. My question is that, when you were elected into office, what will you do to, 1, stop the reckless and irrelevant state capture by government officials, and also 2, to restore confidence in the faces of the Ghanaian youth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's been too much politics, so I'll take Sadiq Adams. I know his question will be on sports. And His Excellency says he will be crisp with the answers for this round, so that's why I'm taking more. Yes.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and good evening, Mr. His Excellency, the former president. My question is, Sami said on sports. As a nation that prides itself as a sports nation, we currently do not have any world-class or international category A stadium in the whole of Ghana, despite millions of dollars sunk as creating infrastructure for the sports. What is Mr. President's vision in getting the best of infrastructure to unearth talent, and to tie that in with the 24-hour economy? We travel around and see that sports is a very massive part of nightlife in countries even in Africa, but Ghanaian sports is designed that after 6 p.m. we all go back to sleep because of the lack of facilities and other amenities to enhance the creation of jobs in the night for sports. What is, or how is the 24-hour economy designed? I've heard from our great trade business. How will that capture and affect sports so that we have around the clock sports development and enhancements in the country? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. I'll just add a few things to what I said about free SHS. One of the objectives we would set ourselves in terms of looking at the implementation again will be to allocate dedicated funding for free SHS. If we agree that education is the most important driver of prosperity and growth, then we must be prepared to identify and earmark funds for it. We already have GET Fund which goes into infrastructure, but we must find dedicated funding to be able to implement the free SHS seamlessly. Also, in addition to the question I answered in terms of 4 years, I have heard somebody say that 4 years, if somebody has 8 years, he'll be more responsible and accountable, and if somebody has 4 years, he will not be accountable. I mean, it's the most illogical statement I ever heard. You are the same person said 4 more for Nana, and so if you follow that logic, it means that no president deserves a second term. That's what the person is saying. So even your 8 years you are talking about, it means when you win and you want re-election, you are not going to be accountable. And so let's, put that illogical thinking aside and look forward. The first was about the prosecution of the laptop coup in regards to our colleague Baka Vomao. And I do think that I don't want to be in contempt of law, but I can say on authority that I don't think that prosecution was necessary. And so let me just keep it like that, so that I don't get cited for contempt. I think that prosecution was unnecessary, and it was an overreaction by the government. With regards to what is happening in Kenya, I don't think that we have to wait for the backlash of what the youth did in Kenya for us to do the things that we have to do. And that's why I started talking. I said, look, the time has come for us to act, and that it can't be business as usual. The Kenyan youth have sent a signal to the whole of Africa that they will push back if the leaders don't do the right thing. And so definitely I'm signaling that it will not be business as usual in our new administration. We'll cut out waste, we'll cut out opulence, we'll bring a code of conduct for public sector, public appointees, especially political appointees, in how they behave in terms of their modesty, in terms of their humility. Your appointment to that office is an opportunity to serve. It's not an opportunity to lord it over the people. And so our political appointees and public office holders must change their attitudes. And so that is what we're going to insist on, that people that we appoint are modest people, they are humble, they will open up to the people, and they'll do the things that will make the lives of our young people better. And so we're going to hold them to a higher criteria of service than people have been held to in the past. And that's why I say, if you agree to serve, you must serve and not have other side businesses and do other things. You must not go and buy state property. Anybody serving in my government will not be allowed to buy a state asset. Nobody serving in my government will buy a state asset. Vehicles or cars or buildings or land or anything, nobody serving in our government will be allowed to buy a state asset. With regards to the deaths, I have the same opinion as you. 8 of our citizens.
MAHAMA, the response to media no any yeti abanan samne die mesina nyasam ketwa na chese baby wu na dia amafo to bana amafo to bana omunim say ba meet with the press wo bia kasakra na nya Captain Smart na question ba ko a Ghana for ye mududo na adaya koma so ache fighting of Galamsey na Galamsey fight no na Captain Smart ekofa ba ye no obisa ne so sisi anwo ba e ba na we na den na be na John Dramani Mahama so me fighting corruption ade ba ko aje se simeni su ye papa na ade ba ko be kama Ghana for nyina ya te se won na ya chi won wa mu dem in the name of say won ye sorry womu tu Galamsey no sawano John Dramani ba obe free womu nyina esan say ye won penifo bi wo hono ma sa Galamsey to womu na womu hyase na so young boys here womu sisu obi besie me kwa kope bibi kakra ba bedi womu de no womu kope bibi e bedi o ene sa ban kawa ebe hye womu se kogu mu into ministers member of parliament penifo DCs MCs womu ankase tu Galamsey no and no ena ono John Dramani Mahama wo be gina so ne ya chi wo nyina egu mo nde oba fighting Galamsey ne de eya de betimi aye adwuma yenko ene ko tie no shomra sisia.
Yes, so Captain
Sami Medase, Your Excellency, my person, my country. The decline is Fourth Republic. Yehun Rawlings, Yehun Kufuor, Yehun Professor Mills, Wa Yehun Da, Abedi Mampeni, Yehun Nanda Nebuchadnezzar, and they are Wunina. It sounds like Yenti Bibi Fufrubia. I say, Yehuna Yasanko Diachri, the Yatida Nana, what can I say? Then Pana ya at the Fufra, second coming, no. Thank
you very much.
Last one. Pacho waka say wabe mufo no umma obia ento Ghana japade na won ho sesi ya won ato no wobe won den na fe banks na egu no uba wo de won license ne be ma won ana se won fa ma ho medase.
Thank you. Kojo Yankson, I see somebody here. Kojo Yankson, come here.
Thank you. Your Excellency, if I may say, this is a very good idea, and I hope you do stick to your promise to keep having such events. My question: if you win in December, do you still intend to grant an amnesty to the repentant Galamseyers?
All right, thank you. Pakwesi Asare, you've had your hand up for a long time. Pakwesi Asare.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Pakwesi Asare. I work with Media General. So recently the IEA was calling for a law that will prolong the term of the governor of the Bank of Ghana to exceed that of the tenure of the president. I know that's the status quo. I think the governor has 4-year term, which is conterminous with that of the president. If you have the chance to renew the contract of the Bank of Ghana governor, would you do that? And you had severally called for a cabinet reshuffle. You had asked the president, Adu Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to reshuffle his finance minister. He did that, and you never applauded him. Why?
Thank you very much. Ben Aravile, welcome to you.
Thank you very much, Sami. Thank you, Mr. President. I think there are two pending questions that were forgotten: the sports question, and then the Umaru Sanda question on OSP. So my question is, you said that you can work with 60 ministers, which is interesting. The number of DCs has increased from 110 to 261, and it appears when districts are created, the EC also increases the constituency. So now we have 275. Those are also arms of government that are expensive. Now, while this is happening, the AMA had 9 districts created out of it in 2018 to 2019. So we are increasing districts, we are creating new districts even in AMA, but AMA has only 3 sub-metros, so the ability to raise revenue is also lower. So it's a 2-in-1 question. Are we going to stop at 261 districts, 275 constituencies, cutting cost? And within that same question, the issue of AMA becoming only 3 sub-metros, they can't raise enough revenue, so it's difficult to manage the city. You've spoken about building a new capital. Does that mean Accra is a lost cause?
Thank you very much. Charles Okran of Daily Graphic. Charles Okran of Daily Graphic. Yes.
Good evening, Your Excellency. Please, we've heard you talk about a lot of programs and policies, but we find ourselves under a very watertight IMF policy, under a John Jane administration. Would you ask for a review of the IMF program with us? Thank you.
All right, bring the microphone to the front bench. There is a lady here who has a question. It's important. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Finally, on behalf of the women, I was about to start a gender protest, but thank you, Sami. Your Excellency, good evening, and thank you for your time. My name is Nwong Falong. I've heard you outline certain intentions towards gender equality. What I have not heard is the affirmative action bill, which we believe is a critical accelerator towards gender equality. Do you have specific, targeted, special commitments towards the affirmative action bill?
I can see Shamima Muslim smiling. Thank you. Kemini, I was told that you had a question. Kemini of TV3, gender balance. I think is she at the back? Let's give more female. Yes. Okay.
Your friend now Major Kumekachi. Mpacho is about the general election. 2016, Your Excellency, Satan Wunana Owa Baimu. Midnight after 7 December, na Madam Charlotte Sebe announced say almost system no. Ya hacking into their system. And then 2020 general election, so till today. MCB6 results in Electoral Commission, Madam James announced the specific one, and now the Dankwa Akufo-Addo winning 2020 general election. So sometimes it will be difficult for NDC to protect our vote.
Thank you very much. Randia Haji, you've had your hand up for a long time. Randia Haji. And then we take one last one. I'm very sorry that.
All right, thank you. My name is Randia Haji, Wezo TV. Mr. President, it's been 6 years now the whole airport was completed. It's in a sorry state, I must say. The last time we had a commercial flight there was in 2022. And per my checks, we have spent close to a little over 2 million Ghana cedis in terms of maintenance in the last 2 years. Yet the place can be best described as a white elephant. Mr. President, what will you do in your next administration to ensure that the whole airport gets some revitalization?
Thank you very much. Kwame Usudanso, the gentleman in black, will have the last one for this round.
I'll defer to my colleague. I think my question has been asked already. Thank you.
All right. So then let's go to the far end. Let's go. The lady, Rebecca. Yes, you've had your hand up for a long time.
Thank you very much, Sammy. My name is Rebecca Iwa. Your Excellency, please, should you win the 2024 election, what will be the measure that you put in place to ensure that the people of Adan get their livelihoods back? I'm talking in relation to the issue where a single investor has been giving the whole Songo Lagoon and the people are deprived of their livelihoods and their brutalities, and freedom of the press is under attack. What exactly would you do to protect our natural resource should you come into power?
Thank you very much. This brings us to the end of the questions segment. His Excellency will give us the last round of answers and then we shall wrap up. But sir, first, you have a question on sports from Sadiq Adams which skipped you. So if you could start with that. Men's good in the backs.
I'm sorry I missed the question on sports. And one was whether we intend to provide a world-class sports stadium. It says that we don't have a world-class standard sports stadium. We've been to several countries. We've gone to watch matches. I've been to Wembley before, and it's a stadium of a different class from what we have here. And often countries are energized to build this stadia if you bid to host something. It creates the opportunity because you know that you get returns on the investment when the tournament comes to your country. And so I remember when we bid for the African Cup of Nations, some rehabilitation of stadia took place, but we didn't see any news, a world-class stadium built. In the current crisis in which we are, I would not stand here and promise that we will build a new stadium, but I've said that under the big push, we intend to spend a certain amount of money over 5 years on providing a good infrastructure to include roads, bridges, agro-industrial parks, and so on and so forth. That could include sports facilities, and if we make allocation, then we probably would look at providing such a stadium. And so that's what I can say. Sports, if you go to many countries, sports plays a very good part in the 24-hour economy. And so you find games being played at night under floodlights and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, here in many places we have to close the match before the sun goes down. Otherwise, there's not enough light to continue the match because we can't even keep the floodlights on. And so I do think that as part of the 24-hour economy, sports can play a very good part, and we'll invest in sports facilities and help the people engaged, the private sector engaged in sports facilities, to be able to provide, service at night so that our people can enjoy that service. During the working day, people go to work and things. In the evening, they want to go witness a football match or go witness an athletics meet, and we don't have exactly the facilities to sustain that. And so it's something that we will think about. Minyano bisa say a day importing and a year bibi fufra. You bet me a day and Satoso say we are there. A bit me assistant young man, ama ye shebre Ghana for shebre assistant. Na I'm say enyoma bebre makano. Makacho said the central plank of your economic policy initially is to stabilize the economy, and only the priority, because we be tokromu ayako sheno. I was say yetimi eye na yetimi apie free tokromu. Ansana waka bibia kan ho, and America said 24-hour economy no. And no a baby economy no send a beya nkwadaa no benye adwuma ye ye mabunu no benye adwuma ye because national security aka say the major threat to your stability in Ghana is youth unemployment. Abraham Niwabemu, now unemployment rate is little over 8%, and then unemployment could do 14.7%. And we share Ghana Statistical Standards, Ghana Statistical Service, or more reports now. HSS things will deteriorate further because World Bank say 800,000 people have fallen below the poverty line just because of economic crisis a year from we. Another Ghana Statistical Service report say 8 million of our people ended that back because they couldn't afford to eat. 8 million people did not eat for one day because they couldn't afford food. The major emergency I was food inflation ever from. And the only way we can do is to say, "Yan kasa eduane a ye di no." E was say, "Yan kasa ye dua wo ha na ye twa na ye nkrofo timi nya food at affordable cost." Enti saa nyoma ni na e ya de a metimi aka say ye be ya e be ma nyoma asesa amaye. Na osan bisa say ya ba nyoma nkrofo afa anase omawia chese eye oman no japade omonkwan afa no ye be en den se makan wo bebi bebre na nu ya me kola na lafo no omunsu because o masasi bebre aban geye se ede ye bibi ene maye mo adwen se mo mfa nye biom na emra ne kire se wo se wo mfa nye wo mfa asase ne nye ade a wo giye ni nti unfa nye bioma e wo se uma asase no esan kọ nia ode asase no ma o
yo ne de e ade a wo Kumasi online GHA obekono na eda honom ensam ne de e dosu ye papa they spent more than 3 hours cry e was adwumedie no asia na John Dramani Mahama what to ne bo answer questions media no e de ma no baako e questions o man Ghana ye mududu na kire ya adwen so sede Mahama be yo ye dede wo ba be ya de papa ben pana ye ba benya e de afiri mo bi a wa ba pen a wo kọ no ne mfom so a wo bo wa be mo create ye ne ade den we sua de afiri ma wo to ne bu eyiyi ano a na sede me sha ase na me ka se ne de no e na che se NPP amanyoko no mati wo poku prempe ene Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia wo mu be pie mu e wa Ashanti region Jubilee Park wo mu be bo nhyiemu wo honom je so obi abetumi akọ media ankwankwa nya ade nyina na ye dan mati wo poku prempe ene a kire Ghana fo nyina sa so I don't make a pie mu so e wo menhia so no wo mo kwa akode ko kire yire na no tu fo so we de ye yi wa agasa wade hye ye yi wa de nyina nti no abatu obi e ba ye be sere ye papa seja na mato e de ama MPP amanyoko no se de matu wo pogu prempesi ano all as ye koto aba ye be vote in as vice president no ye nto aba fan as member of parliament so mtumi nya obi a wo be replace no e wo menhia nti eno ada no e na just wo mu bi etu mu se wo bia no embra na on be peke ne form just nipa hodro a wo mu kofa wo mu form se nra na buhua enye asem keto akra matu opogu prempe ne lawyer akwa peke form saso ena ni nua so akwa peke form ni nyina no menhia south ekunya ba ko ya obia e prigidi a hwe nim se nya me be ya adom na eja wo betumi a pass wo meko vetting after the vetting no tumi pass nkwade a na kwesi da eda nim ya no wo makwa akoto aba ntidi wo moto aba de obedi nkonom no saa nipa no ena be standing in ede ama Matthew Opoku Prempe na nti ya mesaka ene se forms no kwa na busua 3,500 ukofa forms abetu 3,500 na afa forms na wie na wo submit forms no and I bet you 40,000 Ghana cedis. Say, I person be member of parliament to grow man says, "Ebusua some get to 3,500. Who submit here 40,000? Ye bisa so then I am wo mo shansana. Wo ma mo bi akwenya no mo show. So ye party bankwa na wutua wodues. You any dey wo so mo nya ne send obi wo ma kwatena brochi a wo te se gunya na beda ho antu wo pre no ho da bi uba. enyade a wo mo be fa okra busha yankwa ni nkotie sansam we emra sisia
dia tudwa
ko Ashanti region Menchia South medru ho a na mene chemambute ebe twetwe nkobo na maka kiro se wo mo ebie enkrata mu e Menchia South na wo mo ahwe wo mo a wo manage ho se ne ya Mati Opoku Prembe wo ma body dey as running mate no want to be nyina as member of parliament inti hwan e na ekoginem chairman na pay mache
yeah
chairman boko dey
yeah me adum ni mo pa go dey
chairman nan tutu yete say committee a almost mo hwe abato efa MPP de obeginem e de ama Menchia South no na adwumade ne be kwasɛn
oh me share with people na and an afraid the for 1910 ebe bu nomination no omo party officer now omo we interested that I'm a pick post in the training pray shall by 3 o'clock now omo I will be so about the baba go over picking cake go papa be so over pick the baba the one with the over pick every 3,500 until they found out the 40,000 then I can pay I can walk. You know,
Emra da ho ne saying what are the guidelines to about omo kwoto no mo yi ni baba
Emra da ho ne say o find out the baby are so be vetting gather up the real gather up vetting na wo mo qualify no na kwesi da ya kwoto wo soba because anytime the person in 73 or the just 1 week na anything.
Enti nipa na oba be for forms no DNS o once our be for form ni bi according to Momo say
party member would do standing is what you do for the past we are there 3 years what you do it is all back that's what you do sir and then just all way out over that's all what citizens are way out. I don't know in your part.
Na minim se na se na abato ko so nti party album nkomo ne ade nyina no available.
Oba ya dey tell say ega ye party for the between choose bi album but aya na agoye kasakasa e na bi amako say no mako use Ghana no. E dey abu nomination no. Wow we interested you no sabra but we have to take your form. Ogona wini awa dia. So that the buyer.
I meti asem na se pa nti enei omo abeto aba mo expect say Sunday. Won beba abeto santre abeto aba ebe yi one candidate no. Ne album available.
Bibi available. Bibi because you know I order that. Delegates no order that. I want to change. It is album now is abeto. In the area, you go print the album from. And about to no man best to we.
Ebia between the timer wamutu aba Dr. Mati Opoku Prembe any day
obi woman any said in the betwam obi woman betwam obi to kwaya over to yam me makwa me fa proxy emma
na just about to we proxy nka ho
Dabi 110 for mo call with you know the ba me play
ena abato we wawuom na enya ewudi wa abom no so a
o without the wa bonu a ya mani pa so emu bi anto
na committee no mo ankasa mo betena se na mo ahia e de mo ho nkomo ansa abato na baso mebo a
yes sir I no dey be open nomination na keke you open we I be jawa ma the person constituency executive regional executive na come on eti ochira omekrusu eso wo ma na be sa juma no e dey dey be ya say ye ba na me mo amuba ne abeje na ye de kwaka yakoye omo president pilot ne ade ni na waka e dey ba
yate ya na wase ana pe na ye hwese nei omu bie nomination mu no nkro nkosi no nu a na mokwa ho no grounds what say bibia bokọ de
oh Africa na me ko bi ni aba
afe na onam kwa so awoko
na ne won bi oni se obi a wonya 40 years no obi pia half of the amount or your boss will be half of the amount because the person encouraging a man
forms in a picking and I say we no filly no the bar now or
the bar who fill you not the bar with your half. Would you have 40 years with your half? Or your boss will be your half.
40,000 I came. And people living with disability.
Almost half.
Right. You know I say. You better about say that you baby. Wow, I could do her. One of our forms through your close nomination Tuesday. You better near baby din kobo. Yeah, that's Papa Chemamute and I'll tell you Kano.
Okay.
Abusia, maybe a phone line no more. Watch our dream. Na yensho more or more posters. One monte so say unka say we mu na contest because until they submit their forms you can't call them candidates. Yes. But a be declare omu intention posters 1 month so tell say omu nya ombeko pictures no e social media anti yes we have be ya ma wo hu omu a wo declare intention and we be no nkrunkosi no nduna say wo mapie mo ho a wo mo kwa akofa forms no lawyer Nana Ejei Bafo Ewa lawyer Nana Ejei Bafo Ewa wono ni ade se obekwa akofa forms ni bie na se wo mo eto aba si ahenefo no wo ma na dom a na o matumi ato amado ye se no nkron obeba hobi na waba be je forms ni bia na di otosu bi enu usu every year prempe we Matthew Opoku every year na tiriba Matthew Opoku every year na Dr. Matthew Prempe na tiriba e dey abrantia no usu every year Prempe ninua eno no so enyo pepa say obegina e dey ama MPP yes obesi nua na name Ewura fefe was a deputy majority leader pa mama part oba tampa na natima Onen Napo contest she was the only person yes Onen Napo contest here Napo ABC 2020 yes one more candidate na wakwa kojidem for 2024
yes sure
2024
yes sure
one kojidem mu be oba tampa na natima one so hwe kwan say obekwa akofa forms ni bi enti on the sure bet will say obefemi odebeko Enwachi we hu ni enti but
lawyer Kingsley Bonsu Chichire
yeah Kingsley Bonsu Chichire
the lawyer in here Matopoku Prempe the lawyer in here
Chichire
yes on the lawyer in here also contesting
lawyer and brother
yes lawyer and brother
fan what dey support be kwakodina
and
lawyer and brother
and o two phone ya di akonya ni bi yeye
utufonia odi akonya yeye
your edition
ono so contest
akwasi
koka jembibi
yes ono so mu a
koka
ojemu de but ono dia no afino ko seeking for clearance from
otufo say when your papa so ojina as member of parliament
because that bia
one hand dey enough
yes that bia akoja de twa ebia na ababedru yes nti ono na afi no kwa seeking for clearance nti se koba se ye man clearance se kwa na tese wotumi akoba de no so crachi no minim ahini de we besi akode because ye say nananom enfo
no hini oh na say na de sankomo na twam
no say
sankomo na twam ayufuna ma yen say sansem o enkan constitution mu na emwa semfo eno atwam because wa mu bebere na do mu wagim
obayedim say
ebi kura ye party members
Petros
ebi ye Petros
yes na kasa
ebi ye chese ebi ekasa ema
sam no ere yakwa akoti abantisisi amene mo kasa ide nipa wo be standing in ewo menhia south edi ama Matthew Opoku Prempe na kami December 7th ayakotwa bay yedi ekokromoti atwa ba edi ama media empire mebo nyina na ye hwese de Matthew Opoku Prempe wezi fa bɔ ne ho modern pa wo menhia south so moment we nya ni papa obeba be replace no na wo mo kofa ya no fo bia na ya so mini tua wo mu na wo mu begu wo mu hwani mas wo menhia south de nya de ayede be chene sanse mikunu na po wa go ejuma ewo menhia south wo siesie menhia wa bone ho madede nipa be ye bia wa ye wa hwe nyankan wesia woni bi ne mobro wa fa wo mo menhia south de nipa be ye bia no wotunya enti nipa kura o ba be replace no mesrew do not ever come and then disgrace my husband. ATP.
Nana ya sewa.
And some I go to about for the 2 as well.
Okay, Nana ya sewa. Me sha sen free 24-hour economy. John Mahama. Martina fidie mi ase akase sa 24-hour economy ni die enya dia. Ebetimi aye adwuma e wo man Ghana ma batutie ni sem na wo kanese. Wo de niema guna kwema wo baba be ye hwe no. Enyankopon bo na oba abem na obetima ye dia fan. Enana asema ye Captain Smart ebusa ye man peni dada John Mahama manage hom efa sa eniema na ekosna na ya se wa Galamsey won sense so no ye bebo adanse na nsema wo kan me nyina no nsi bone na me nka se me betwa bone se won ntimi nye won na ese so obetima ye se ye nya de tumi ni ma na me kura ya na me ka se kura ya ye bebre wa we dada nya eja wutimi akwa yin na ya se wo nyina ye kopi so wini no obetima ye sa de ni da 4 years no obetimi da ye dia and they because I do na na ko pio so wo menhia south so a ye beboa say delegates ni ko yi obi a request by election mo hwe no mo ni pa obetimi aye mputu nyuma te say the na ma meti opoku prepare ye no say the be ya dan nyina na ye menhia north south ebetimi akoso na ya sewa
okay akoso ya boachwa onso dia de beto aso
ensem ni de bebre na aba betodwa na sese no mekasa fa 24-hour economy no eno no megidi say Mahama na wo kan sansensem ni nyina ebe ba still na corruption ni nyamanyama bebre no ebe koso enya de say no ne betime CP say da ho finchen eno kwa bakra said den na corruption ni nyama boni de ebe koso ntine no de menji ntum ena afen so no da Galamsey sensem na ekoba ye na wo ye say oba be clear obetwa ni nyina mu ne ho ye no empanyefo no mo hyehyehye ase ne ebi ye NPP ebi ye NDC nti wono oba on de obeka ne fala ase on de oba be clear ni nyina empanyefo mo hyehyehye ase nyina obehwese ye bechiom en de enya adwuma
okay
ni nyina no de pe ni vote nti na wo ye yes anyamanyama ni nyina na yes sister ba ku bisa na question bi say impuntu nyuma no project a ye van say NPP aye ene project a ono ne ba oba be ye no oba obetu aso ana say obetu ono ne dia ono ne ye no ba me hu ne say ba na wo ba no oba be ye ne dia because sa de we no akoso afri tete
okay
NPP ni ba na NDC ni na AC dan we ya on to aso obema dan na asi won ma adure gua ma ka ni nyina so yeska kro ya nti say same way na ekokọ koso no man ni be ya gise ye nyina ya ka ye hu abom ma ye nti ya won ka say bia NDC ni we ye NPP ni nti say NDC ye we ya mentu aso we NPP ye we so mentu aso nti wo say ye nyina no ye hwe ne ye sa anyama we nyina no na vote no so ye ma ye ni na ho ye vote ye aba we ni an vote ye de be ba na he gise ye dwane free o man mu
aba we no chese ye dru so ye kotfo aba na moteni esi yanto aba ye enye sad ye beba krom hanim say no enya dia ebeye asempa ede amaye kwa akosi aboachewa ene hana ATP madam asiye papa seja boza hade o banko ade atwubuta ya de be ma emsi hana be ma kwa na nsema ye be so mo de ni na no ebeba na wie ye me number is 0557036109 video audio pictures biara wo bia no obetimi ede asende me e wo WhatsApp oton product ye mbo de ro mfama we bia company bi obasi e bo de ro so ede ma we ni jijuma de ho ba so oba so yase a 0550623377 and as 0557036109109 Kumasi online media school sebra na wa mo fanfantite ye pemu yes we wie JHS we wie SHS wako university bi ewie udu ti apempema enye ye bra ahane de ye 3 months per esanso ye 100% practicals ye do fantite ye pem graphic design TV and radio presentation video and audio editing newscasting say ye chi say bro for camera handling DJ and social media drone shots MCR ede de keka ho nyina no wo ba ye do be fa entity ye pem forms 100 Ghana cedis obenya be for days of Kumasi online TV ye chi akwan Kumasi askwa for any inquiries for 0550623377 and as 0557036109 who ye wedding, who ye engagement, school farm, who ye program, say ye graduation, say ye speech and prize giving day, ensuring sorry, more ye church service, conferences near the Yenano. Kumasi online TV, ye be ya pumato, was a monton some fraying. Ye be bani about the travel program, no area, my streaming live on Facebook and also on YouTube. other social media platform like keka ho nyina no ye bedi juma no ere amount pepepe 16 regions baby biara abeto safra ye bia no e ya dia ye beba na ya ba be share program no ere amount be so booking and na say enquiries friend was 055062 3377 now ne ye entwetwe enkomo ube paint ere afa na ho de asabre make for American paint ere amount paint where your original paint ensure to tell the far down well and your paint out the far down one na e wa ni bisa paint we bibia frame color be no hanum so aye ni bi e ya share where they sit in the comfort of your homes and order ye di bi ebeba be pie mu e baby biara wo station abase ye boa e shepe cars fi obi memu be pie mu o manga na ye ni nyina bi obase bia oba na ubetu paint no show ekoton nso amepacho ye bi e wo hono wo be ye chi akwan ye wo Kumasi Meduma market ye ni ko waf mo no ena edi inshenim wo Ghana no wa Ghana number no United States nso a na wa number na eda honom no ere amame Abrante Paco Jo Manuel ere na MC honom de mame saso na Dennis ere TV video we mame executive producer Mr. Daniel ye boa lawyer fans of Atija Jumedie Munyina no nyakopo ensham ye papa sen ne den no majebre action sempa ye de ababa so mo comment section ase no mo amode mo fa majenche fa ho no mo share video we so mamunua na ono so enhye fa ma foforo no munyina sanka de ekoso e wo man Ghana uwia no ma thumbs up so e wo ho no me amede jumedie be som e de amete so ane nana ya ase wo me ko so e kai mo se ene day enter 8 o'clock 9 to 10 de mo ba Kumasi online TV a mo benya live MPP amanyoko no wo mo dai matu opogu prepare e de ache asante man nti misre nti na me be subscribe why wo subscribe sa na nya chance a wo benya notification eja once wa share ensem ne bi nyame adoma e be sanso e de share take care bye bye
Amafwe Kumasi Online TV Production yaba ne de ne yaba ye de equipment ekukudam ana ye de aba se eye camera de enam wiem de nam fom de enam ensuom ni nyina ye wo bi e wo honom a TV production yabo a hu ye pa se wo ye dwumadie bi etese wedding eye engagement and sorry ana schools se wo ye sem na bi na pese betwa ko all the social media networks and so e de amaw ye ni ntotonsa na fre eye Kumasi Online TV Production for na yamra na ye dwumadie ne Kama fe a ebo no eda from pa the production so the sound quality video quality ni nyina e wo soro wo pese wo hu ba bia wa ye wo Kumasi eyetia media opposite one ma ana se to nsa ne frɛ wa homa trufo so 0550623377 Kumasi Online TV Production ye demufua e wo Kumasi kodua mu